So Diffindo is a product that we were thinking about what's a big issue for a lot of public servants, and one of the things that we have to do a lot of the times is create submissions, right? Which have a lot of different edits, and most often these happen in Outlook. So it's really manual because there's strike through that you have to then manually delete. You have to change the colors. You have to incorporate comments. So it takes quite a lot of time for a lot of people to do that. So what if we could have a kind of user interface that's a bit like Microsoft Word's track changes, but for Outlook and specifically for submissions that actually made this much easier. So that's actually what we created with Diffindo. So we're going to show you a demo later, but I wanted to highlight the key features. So a track change interface makes it really easy to accept or reject just with one click rather than manually selecting. Change all your font color to black. You don't have to worry about different colors. You actually delete the text with strike through rather than manually hitting backspace or selecting it. You can change the submission to incorporate the comments itself when you're in the app itself. Copy the rich text, so you want to keep your bold, italics, underline, and so on. And you want it to be secure. So people ask questions about security. We actually interviewed about 10 people, and they worked on a whole variety of submissions, and they said, hey, can we make sure it's safe? And so we want to run it just on your own computer, so the data doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't come to us or anybody else. So those are all the features that we actually did implement. There are a couple of limitations that we found. So what we haven't got through is the comments that people often put in brackets. Those are still going to appear as changes in the submission itself. So you have to manually manage those. We haven't figured out the line breaks yet per se. And then the final thing is secure internet surfing doesn't support this website for secure email users, but for people who have non-secure email, it actually works. It works fine on GSIB for those users and also on the internet. So we're going to go straight into a demo, and Anshuk's going to show you how this works, a live demo, not pre-recorded.
All right, hello, Antariksh here. This is the Diffindo website. On the left, you can see a sample submission that I've pasted in. So this is, you can see it's all in black. This is what I would have sent to, say, for example, my bosses for approval. On the right, I've pasted in the edits made to the email. So you can see that maybe some of the bosses have made edits in green text, some of them have made edits in purple. Some text has been struck through, indicating that it should be deleted. And maybe another person made edits with yellow highlights. So this is what I've pasted in directly from email. So I'm going to hit merge changes here. And off the bat, you can see that for sentences that have had no changes made, nothing needs to be done. So you can see the word unchanged that is used to label the unchanged sentences. For any sentence with a change in it, the deletions are highlighted in red and the insertions are highlighted in green. So you can see that over here I have the option to either keep these edits or discard. So in this case, I'm going to keep all these edits. You'll notice that in the middle of this sentence, there's actually a comment from someone that has been kept. And this is what a limitation that Rahul was talking about earlier, right? That we have no way to differentiate between comments that should be kept versus edits that should be kept. So I'll demonstrate later how I can actually remove this right at the end. But there are no problems with the following edit. So this is just the capitalization. I'm going to keep this. The next one is this renaming of this word servants to officers. I'm going to keep that as well. There's just the word and, keeping that. Some wording changes, keeping that. So that's all the changes dealt with. Now that everything has been done, I'm going to hit generate final submission over here in the bottom right. And that brings me to this rich text editor. And if you remember just now, there was a comment in the middle of the sentence that shouldn't have been there. So I'm just going to use this chance to take that and delete it. And now I can just highlight all this text and paste it back into my email. So it's an easier interface of dealing with the edits that multiple people might have made to an email submission. And now I'll hand back to Rahul.
Yeah, so the only other thing we wanted to talk about is future plans. So we're going to pause development on this. It's live actually as a site. So if you want to go to go.gov.sg/Diffindo, anybody can use it. We're going to write a blog post to document our learnings. And maybe one thing we might explore is seeing if we can get the site whitelisted so that it can be used on SIS even for secure email users. That's it. Thank you very much. We're happy to take questions.
You don't want to
Thanks, Diffindo team.
email stuff onto the internet.
Any questions on chat, or feel free to unmute as well.
It's fine.
Jean has a
No, it's fine,
question.
it's fine.
No, I'm just looking at.
What about formatting white space changes?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
What about formatting white space changes?
No, 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 I'm just looking at.
It's fine. 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 It's fine.
Yeah, so we actually can deal with formatting and white space changes. The limitation here is that we can only deal with bold, italic, and underline. So it's limited to those changes. In general, from experience and from interviews, we found that those are the main formatting changes that need to be incorporated. In general, you don't have like font colors and highlighting in submissions, but it is a limitation of the product. The diffing process is a little bit complicated. Let me just try and summarize it. So diffing itself for plain text is a solved problem, right? But the problem with diffing HTML, which is what we're doing here, is that you get sort of fragments of HTML text, which are difficult to, which you shouldn't render if you get like, an open arrow or a closed arrow or something like that. So the way we've dealt with that is that we actually take the HTML, extract the plain text, diff the plain text, but then we actually do it in a way that we remember which plain text applies to which HTML tag. So after we do the diff in the plain text, we actually go back and apply the original tags. So that's how we retain that support for bold, italic, and underline. We don't want to train users to paste confidential secret. Yeah, so actually, if I had done that demonstration with my Wi-Fi off, it would have worked the same way, because no data is being sent back and forth on the internet. It's all client-side.
And then even if it's client-side, you don't
even if Diffindo script is client-side only, yeah. Preston, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Actually, how I agree with you. I mean, I really would integrate this. In fact, Immense Outlook actually does have a version of this, but it doesn't seem to work on our DSIPs.
No,
And
for example,
we decided
if you
this
paste it
for
with any other
simplicity
diff,
to build it
right?
separately.